Good morning, my dear students. In the last session, we studied about sources of data. Statistical data can be obtained from two sources, primary and secondary. How do we collect the data? Do you know how a manufacturer decides about a product? Or how a political party decides about a candidate? They conduct a survey by asking questions about a particular product or candidate from a large group of people. The purpose of the survey is to collect data. Survey is a method of gathering information from individuals. This survey needs some instruments. Today we will discuss about preparation of instrument. The most common type of instrument used in surveys is questionnaire or interview schedule. The questionnaire is either self-administered by the respondent or administered by the researcher or trained investigator. While preparing the questionnaire or interview schedule, you should keep in mind the following points or qualities of a good questionnaire. The questionnaire should not be too long. The number of questions should be as minimum as possible. Long questionnaires discourage people from completing them. Secondly, the series of questions should move from general to specific. The questionnaire should start from general questions and proceed to more specific ones. This helps the respondents feel comfortable. For example, when you are waiting for a bus, suddenly a stranger comes and asks you how many marks you scored in class 10 public exam. You may feel uncomfortable. On the other hand, if the person first asks your name, school name, course, etc., a loose talk, then move to this question, it will be comfortable to answer. That means questions should move from general to specific. Next, the question should be precise and clear. For example, what percentage of your income do you spend on clothing in order to look presentable? This question is a poor question. We can ask that question very simply like that. What percentage of your income do you spend on clothing? Next, the question should not be ambiguous, open to more than one interpretation. They should enable the respondents to answer quickly, correctly, and clearly. For example, do you spend a lot of money on books in a month? Is a poor question because the amount spent is big or small depends upon the income of that person. We can ask that question like this: how much do you spend on books in a month? Next, the question should not use double negatives. The question starting with wouldn't you or don't you should be avoided as they may lead to biased response. For example, don't you think smoking should be prohibited? The answer is already mentioned in that question, which is not a good question. The good question is, do you think smoking should be prohibited? Next, the question should not be a leading question, which gives a clue about how the respondent should answer. For example, how do you like the flavor of this high quality tea? It's a poor question. Already the questionnaire mentioned that the tea is high quality. But it is a poor question. How do you like the flavor of this tea? It's a good question. The question should not indicate alternatives to the answer. For example, would you like to do a job after college or be a housewife? Is a poor question. Would you like to do a job if possible is a good question. The questionnaire may consist of closed-ended or structured or open-ended or unstructured questions. When there are closed-ended or structured questions can either be a two-way question or a multiple choice question. When there are only two possible answers, yes or no, it is called a two-way question. When there is a possibility of more than two options of answers, multiple choice questions are more appropriate. Closed-ended questions are easy to use, score and codify for analysis because all the respondents can choose from the given options. But they are difficult to write as the alternative should be clearly written to represent both sides of the issue. There is also a possibility that individual's true response is not present among the options given. For this, the choice of any other is provided, where the respondent can write a response which was not anticipated by the researcher. Moreover, another limitation of multiple choice questions is that they tend to restrict answers by providing alternatives, without which the respondents may have answered differently. Open-ended questions allow for more individualized responses, but they are difficult to interpret and hard to score since there are a lot of variations in the responses. For example, what is your view about globalization? Different persons have different views about globalization. Some of them thought that globalization is good for India or any country, and some others thought that which is not good. So, it is hard to score, or the open-ended questions are hard to score and hard to value. Thank you.